So today we are making brittle. It could be nut or peanut brittle. And I am using a cup and a half of white sugar. And we're going to melt the sugar and then we're just going to pour it over the pumpkin seeds. And you want to have just a regular heavy bottom pan. And you don't want to do anything else while you're doing this, because it doesn't take a long time, but it does take your attention. So we're just going to continue to stir this, and it's going to start to melt. And then we're going to pour it over the seeds. I might even turn it down a bit. Let's see what goes on here. So the sugar is going to start to get clumpy, and then it's going to start to turn amber. It's going to turn brown. And this is just basic table sugar.
Are you cooking it on high?
I am cooking it on high. But you want to be careful not to burn the sugar. You can also turn it down just a little bit. You basically just want to get the sugar to melt. So you can turn it on medium-high if you're more comfortable with that. And I've always used wooden spoon. So you can start to see it changing color now. Now I've turned the stove down a little bit, so it's going to happen a little bit less quick, and that's probably advisable if it's your first time, because you don't want the sugar to burn, otherwise it's going to taste like burnt sugar. As far as finding for the seeds of a pan, I just put the seeds or nuts on parchment paper, and today we're just using like a ceramic lasagna pan, or you can use a cookie sheet, but today we're just going to use a lasagna pan. And for this batch I have a cup and a half of just plain white granulated sugar and 2 cups of nuts. So I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit, just so we can move a little quicker here. You can adjust that, especially if you're working with a gas stove. You can just play around with the flame a little bit. I'm just trying to work to break up any clumps. Probably I'll have a few. If it starts to boil and you still have a few, I recommend just pouring it, because otherwise you're at risk of burning the sugar, and that's probably not worth it. Okay. So even though you can still see it's just about to boil, and just to make sure we don't have too much of a burnt taste, I'm going to turn the burner off. And right before it goes, I'm going to take it over carefully because it is really hot. And you're just going to start from one side to the other, pour it over. The sugar is so hot, we're not even going to roast the pumpkin seeds before, because the temperature of the sugar is actually going to just roast the seeds. Okay. Always good to have a place to put the pan down, and you can just sort of pour it over. You might even hear some popping. That's the sound of the pumpkin seeds. Basically getting roasted by your sugar. This is my mother. She's being the camera person for today. And that's it. Then you want to just wait for this to cool, and you can break it up. And easy peanut brittle. Enjoy. Have fun.